Welcome all to our channel GTech Fluent. Our today's topic number 29 in ASP.NET Core video tutorial series is Form Tag Helper in ASP.NET Core MVC. So in this video, we'll discuss how to create the forms in the ASP.NET Core. So in ASP.NET Core MVC, when we want to create the forms, then we required some different tag helpers to create the forms. The first tag helper we required, that is form tag helper. It is used to create the form. Second tag helper is the input tag helper. If we want to display some input box, or you can say the text box or input control in our form, then we require input tag helper. Next, we require the label tag helper. Label tag helper is another helper which is used to display the text for the particular control. Next tag helper, we have a text area tag helper. So this is used to display the text area whenever we want to get the data from the user in the more than two columns. In that case, we require the text area. For example, in the address, next control, we require the radio button. Another tag helper which is help us to create the radio button group. Next tag helper, we have a select tag helper. If you want to display the drop down list or option list into the form, then we require the tag helpers. So at the end of this tutorial, we will be creating the form, and that form we are going to use for creating the student information record into our system. So let's switch to the Visual Studio and see the example of the form tag helper. So we are in our project which we have created for this video tutorial series. As we require to create the form, so we require to add the new action into the student controller. So let's go to the student controller and we'll add new action here. We'll call that action name is create student. So let's add the action and we'll decorate with the HTTP GET as we required two action here, one with the HTTP GET verbs and another with the HTTP post verb. So return view and let's add another method with the HTTP post. We will getting the student model class object. So now we have added the action. So let's create the view. You can add view by clicking on the action or directly go to the student folder. Right click on the action, add view, select the reserve view, click on the add, create student, keep with the empty and let's click on the add. So our view is created under the student folder inside the views. So in order to create the form into the ASP.NET Core MVC, we need to use form tag helper first. So let's use the form tag helper form and let's close this. After adding the form, we need to pass controller name and action name to this form. So for that, we need to use asp dash controller equal to, so we need to give the controller name, that is student in our case, and we require the asp dash action, that is create student, and one more property we need to define, that is the method of the type. So method equal to, we are posting the form. Okay, so now we have set up the basic form. So after this, we need to add our input control or display the input control into the form. So before that, we need to provide the model from which model this create student is going to refer. So on the top, just type model space student. We are getting directly student class because in view import we have imported the namespaces globally. Otherwise, you need to specify your project name dot models and then the class name. In the form, we require the different properties. For example, we require the name, class, age, and the school of the student. So let's add the input box or text box on the form which get the student name. First, we require the label which display for the student, and to bind the label for the particular property of the student class, we need to use asp-for and we need to give the property name which must be matched with your class property. So if you go, the name is here. So we need to provide the name. close. So the name, when we bind the property for the asp dash for, the label will automatically display as per the property name in the class. Next, we require the text box to get the student name. Input type equal to text, and similar way we need to provide asp dash for equal to name. So now this text box, whenever we input or provide the value into this text box, it will automatically assign to this property of the class, that is name, into the student class. Let's create the input control for the other property in the class. So we have now added the control for the each property in the class. So if you notice, we have get the name, class, age, and the school. So these are the property into the student class. So if you are having any idea on the asp.NET MVC, so it is similar to the html.text box for, html.label for. So now if you want to display the error message under the particular control, so we need to use another tag helper into the our form. So let's say we are displaying our error message inside this span, and we need to use asp dash validation for, and we need to provide the property for which property we are going to display the error message. For example, in this case we are going to display for the name, and we can say the class equals to text dash danger, which is the bootstrap class. So as of now we are not focusing on the any UI concept here, just clearing the concept on the form, how to create the form into the asp.NET MVC. So our form is created, so let's run and see, and navigate to the student slash create student. Look, we are getting our form generated. Okay, so one thing we require to add the button here, so let's add the button. So we have added button here, input type equals to submit. So whenever you submit the form, it will hit to the student controller. So in the form, if you not provide controller name and the action name, in that case it will go to the action where that particular view is render. In for example, our action is create student, so it will go to the create student post method inside the student controller. But it is a best practice to provide the controller name and the action name inside the form tag. So there are the other tag. For example, we require, if we require the text area, we can use the text area, and here you need to specify the asp-for. So this asp-for property is required for the each control, which will bind your value for the particular properties inside the model class. So we have a select tag helper. So select asp-for, and for the select we need to provide the asp-item. So this indicates that from which collection this select getting populated or option getting created. So these are the some example of the tag helper which we required while creating our form. In our next video, we will see how to post data to the action, to the HTTP post action and the model binding concept into ASP.NET Core MVC. So please let us know if anyone has any query or doubt. We will meet in our next video. Thank you.